History isn't just a collection of dusty old dates. It's the living story of how our world came to be. Some events happen quietly, barely making a ripple. Others, they erupt like earthquakes, shaking nations, rewriting borders, and changing the course of humanity forever. Today, we're counting down 5 of the most remarkable modern historical events, moments that defined generations, shaped our future, and still echo through our lives today. From the chaos of global war to the triumph of human exploration, from walls crumbling to voices rising, these are the stories you need to hear. Buckle up, because history is about to come alive. World War II, the conflict that redefined the planet. In 1939, the world plunged into the deadliest conflict in human history, World War II. It began with the roar of tanks rolling into Poland and quickly spread across continents, engulfing Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. For 6 long years, nations clashed in a brutal struggle driven by ideology, ambition, and survival. Over 70 million lives were lost, cities were reduced to rubble, families were torn apart. The Holocaust exposed humanity's darkest depths, while the atomic bomb showed the terrifying power of science in war. But out of the ashes, the modern world began to take shape. Alliances shifted, the United Nations was born, and the Cold War emerged. World War II didn't just redraw maps, it redefined global politics, economies, and the way nations interact to this day. The moon landing, a giant leap for mankind. On July 20th, 1969, millions around the globe watched as grainy black and white images flickered across their TV screens. Astronaut Neil Armstrong stepped onto the surface of the moon, speaking the immortal words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." This wasn't just a technological achievement, it was a triumph of human imagination, perseverance, and unity in the midst of the Cold War's tensions. The space race between the United States and the Soviet Union had pushed science to its limits, and the Apollo 11 mission proved that no dream was too distant. The moon landing inspired generations to look upward, to believe that humanity could go beyond our earthly boundaries. It reminded us that with determination and innovation, even the stars are within our reach. The fall of the Berlin Wall, the symbol of a divided world, crumbles. For decades, the Berlin Wall stood as the ultimate symbol of division, splitting not only a city, but the entire world between East and West, communism and democracy. Built in 1961, it tore families apart and turned neighbors into strangers overnight. On November 9, 1989, that concrete barrier finally cracked, not from an explosion, but from the unstoppable force of people demanding freedom. Crowds gathered, hammers in hand, breaking down the wall piece by piece. Tears mixed with laughter as families reunited and strangers embraced. The fall of the Berlin Wall marked the beginning of the end for the Cold War. It was more than a political shift. It was proof that human hope and unity can overcome even the most entrenched barriers. 9/11, a day that changed the world. On the morning of September 11, 2001, the unthinkable happened. 4 passenger planes were hijacked by terrorists. 2 crashed into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. Another struck the Pentagon. The 4th went down in a Pennsylvania field after brave passengers fought back. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives. The images of burning towers, collapsing skyscrapers, and dust-covered survivors became etched into our collective memory. 9/11 reshaped global politics and security. It led to wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and forever changed how nations approached terrorism, intelligence, and international cooperation. It was a day of unimaginable tragedy, but also a day that revealed extraordinary acts of courage, compassion, and resilience. The COVID-19 pandemic, a global crisis of the 21st century. In late 2019, news began to spread about a mysterious new virus in Wuhan, China. Within months, COVID-19 had swept across the globe, shutting down cities, grounding flights, and altering daily life in ways few could have imagined. Hospitals overflowed, economies stumbled, and millions mourned loved ones. Masks, lockdowns, and social distancing became part of everyday life. But amid the fear and uncertainty, stories of human solidarity emerged. Neighbors helping neighbors, scientists racing to develop vaccines, and communities finding ways to connect despite isolation. The pandemic wasn't just a public health crisis, it was a test of global cooperation, resilience, and adaptability. Its lessons will shape how we face future challenges as a global community.